I just want to welcome today our donors, our event sponsors, our board members, and our friends. I want to let you know I'm Allison Purz. I'm the executive director of the Mareda Center. And I am thrilled today to be joined not only by all of you who are joining us virtually, but I'm also joined by two friends and partners in crime. Nonprofit work can be exhilarating. It can be challenging. It can be heartwarming. It can be heartbreaking. And I want to thank Wendy Huntley from Connecting Kids to Meals, who is their president and CEO, for joining us today. Wendy and I have been good friends for a number of years. We won't admit how many because we want people to think we're very young. And so I want to thank Wendy for being here today. And also we have Matt Killam with us. And Matt probably might not be the face that you see, but he is certainly responsible for developing the faces of the Toledo Metro Parks. And so we're very honored to have Matt with us also. I want to start today by just kind of reflecting a little bit. None of our nonprofit organizations do this work alone. And one of the things that really struck me when we were starting to prepare for this luncheon is a really powerful quote that I happen to love from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" And you know, you look at the world today and what's happening, and I look at our organizations and I think we've been able to come together in what can be a highly competitive marketplace right now for nonprofits, and really focus on the development of our organizational missions, both individually and collectively. In my mind, I will say, there's no one more dedicated to developing intentional mission spirit than Phil Skeldon. And I don't know if either one of you know Phil, but Phil has been with St. John Jesuit High School and has worked a number of years in the Christian Service Department to foster and contribute to growing a passion for service. We're going to listen to a clip by Phil, and then I do want to talk to both of you about some of his comments.
When a kid comes in here, a student, as a freshman or a sixth grader, we mandate service because we know that many of them would not do service if we didn't mandate it. So we mandate service. But by the time they get to be a junior or senior, it becomes a non-mandatory program. And probably 90 to 95% of our students take part in that program, which we call our Christian Service Program for the junior, senior year. And so we want to bring our students from that student who comes in and says, gosh, do I have to do service, to a point where they are saying, this is a part of who I am. It's about building relationships with people. So all of our service is about building relationships. We want them to go back to the same agency for a semester, build a relationship with somebody, and then once you build that relationship, service just simply becomes a part of who you are. It's not about getting service hours done. So for us to partner with an agency like Mareda Center is an honor for us because it allows us to live out our motto, but also allows us to educate that full person of our student and make them into a person that is going to be, an active, engaged citizen for the rest of their lives.
So one thing that I think about when I listen to Phil's comments, Wendy, is volunteers are so critical, both pre and post pandemic. So maybe you could talk a little bit about, you've got an amazing team, an amazing onboarding process. Maybe you could talk a little bit about kind of what volunteerism looks like at your organization.
Allison, thank you. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to be here and to participate in this great event. I'm excited about being here and also being alongside of my buddy, Matt. Volunteerism, as you said, is so critically important, not just to us at Connecting Kids to Meals, but all nonprofits. I mean, to a certain extent, we rely on people to, provide service, whether it's at the board level or whether it's, as it relates to the actual service. For us, we have a few unique ways in which people can get involved. One, they can help us to package our meals. And that's so critically important because it helps to save resources. We would have to pay people to do this. And so we coordinate, with United Way, and they help us to line folks up to actually help package our meal. And so it allows for us to get those meals done and put together in a cost-effective way. But it also gives our volunteers and our residents in our community a chance to come in and do something that they feel is meaningful. I mean, they're literally packing these meals and understanding that these meals are going to kids that are in need. The second way in which people have a unique opportunity to engage with Connecting Kids to Meals and our community is by coming to some of our meal sites and signing up to serve there, serving meals directly to kids. Again, there's a component of assembling the meals and getting them into the hands of the kids and, sometimes caregivers. And so, that is meaningful. And I've had volunteers tell me that it is really a rewarding opportunity when they have a chance to see a smile on a kid's face when they actually receive that meal. And so those are just a few of the ways in which people support the work that we're doing at Connecting Kids to Meals to make sure that kids have access to healthy meals.
And Matt, I know you and I were talking a little bit earlier. So one of the things that I have really enjoyed many years ago was volunteering at the Metro Parks at Christmas time. And I know there must be a whole slew of other things that people can avail themselves of, but how does the Metro Parks kind of further their mission and their important work through volunteers?
Well, we simply wouldn't be able to do anything without them. We are the stewards of 13,000 acres of property throughout Lucas County, and it is clean, safe, and natural 365 days out of the year as a result of volunteer work. So there are certainly volunteers that plug in from the holidays perspective and an event perspective, which is invaluable and fun. But we have teams of volunteers that are out on the trails every day to make sure that people are safe, the trails are in good shape. If, God forbid, something occurs from a first aid perspective, there's someone able to attend to them right away. So we recently found out that we are 4 finalists to be the best park district in the country, and that is as a result of the volunteers that plug in on a daily basis. It's fulfilling work, as Wendy said, and it is a chance to create a community at the Metro Parks, potentially as a hobby or after retirement, or just looking for an opportunity to meet new people. For a park system in a county that only has 400,000 people, we see just under 6 million visits annually, an all-time high, and we wouldn't be able to do what it is we do without that amount of assistance. We would halt our operations as everyone has grown to know them. Our attention to detail is a direct result of that plug-in as well, and we just continue to grow and are continue to be able to fulfill promises as a result of Lucas County residents, mostly from a volunteer perspective.
And isn't it great that people come out? I mean, it's so amazing to me. We had a preschool group last year that went through kindergarten screening. And at the end of kindergarten screening, we got the word that all 8 of them were going forward with no areas of concern, nothing to work on over the summer. And so as I look at our volunteers, one of the ways that we work tightly with St. John's is their young men come once a week and we can count on them. And they develop relationships with the kids in the preschool program who look forward to them coming. And sometimes they're a little bit more receptive to what they are supposed to be learning when it comes from somebody who's volunteering, as opposed to a teacher type that they see every day. Let's take a minute and hear from one of those volunteers.
We kind of didn't know what to expect. We walked in the classroom and the kids loved us right away. All their attention shifted to us with smiles and a great greeting. And so I didn't know if that was just going to be a first day thing or if we were going to actually, you know, if that's how happy they were all the time. And by the second time I showed up, they were still just as happy, and they still, you know, glad to see us and staring at us, and lost focus for a second while we walked in. Bentley was definitely memorable. I remember walking in the first day, and he was, you know, acting up a little bit the first day, and you know, I made it my goal that I was going to try to get him to improve and get his, you know, his attitude and his listening skills a little bit better. And I honestly, I'm not sure if it was what it was, but every day it seemed like he was getting better and seemed to stay on topic more, and you know, he improved greatly, and every day we showed up, which was about once a week, his progress was, you know, you could definitely tell he was making progress and trying to learn, and he got happier to see us, and you know, grew a relationship with him. So it's a great experience. I went there expecting to teach them something, and I hope I did. I hope they learned something from me, but they definitely taught me, you know, they're with their background, it's amazing how happy and how they always smile. So it definitely, you know, brought out something in me and showed me how, you know, if, you know, my bad day might not really be a bad day, and that service, you know, their service or doing service there definitely, you know, changed me too. That it wasn't just, it had an effect on both of us. I hope they got something from me. So.
So it's always inspiring to me, and I think about that spirit of service for others. I can say that nowhere has that been more evident, Matt, for me than when our kiddos went to experience summer camp at the Metro Parks. You know, they spent a week doing things that most of them have never experienced before. They didn't know what paddle boats were. They didn't know what archery was. You know, they wanted to go back and do those shooting things again. And we talked about archery and how it's been used and historically. And I mean, it was amazing to me to watch them. I wonder about how your organization kind of infuses that service and care for others, because it seems to me that the experience, especially for our kids who come from tough backgrounds, they can be challenging to handle. You know, that service and care for others really did permeate their experience. And I'm just curious, what do you think contributes to that?
Well, first of all, those kids' attitudes, we can't bridge that alone. We have to have a partnership there. We have to find a common ground, and the outside does create sort of an equal plane. But we can only do so much, and we found the Mareda Center and connecting kids with meals so helpful in building those relationships based on trust and commitment and consistency. So we are a conduit to get people outside and to experience nature in a way that potentially they never were able to before. But the spirit of collaboration that I think has been profound in our area, and even more so in the last decade, isn't something to discount. We are truly working together to make this region better. I can't tell you the last time I wasn't on a call with a group of our peers, including the two of you, where at some point everyone on that call didn't say, how can I help, or how can we do this better, or what can I do for you? So there's a spirit of that. From the Metro Parks perspective, we try to create opportunities for people that may not have had or may never have this opportunity based on cultural divide, geographic divide, socioeconomic divide. It is our job to be in a place for those who don't have, and that is our mission. That's what